Hi, I'm Nathan with the ebookreader.com. For this video, I'm going to give a comparison review between the Kindle Paperwhite 2 here on the left and the Icarus Illumina HD here on the right. So these are both 6-inch e-ink ebook readers. The Kindle has a Carta screen where the Icarus has a Pearl screen. There's very little difference between those two if you guys know the difference. But as far as the front lights go, they both have front lights, and as you can see on the left, the Kindle's is a little brighter, even though it's right under the light, and this one isn't, but it's kind of hard to tell. Let me go ahead and load up a book, and you can see the front lights a little better. Let's talk about that first. Obviously, these two devices are a lot different as far as software is concerned. You can see one huge difference right there is just in the load time. The Kindle has, it runs off its own proprietary software off of Linux, and the Illumina HD here, it runs Android 4.2. It runs Open Android and can install apps. It can even install the Kindle app. It comes preloaded with it, in fact. So let's sort of go over some of the differences. This is actually the Illumina HD's built-in reading app. It doesn't have a whole lot of features, but I was talking about the front lights here, so let's go ahead and talk about that first. Let me turn off this light. As you can see, the front lights between the two are quite a bit different. It's a lot dimmer for one on the Illumina HD. I both have the front lights set to maximum on both of these. So one thing that always is kind of strange about the Kindles is the front light never fully turns off, even when you have it turned all the way down right here. If you look really closely, it's still on. The Illumina HD, it's just as dim when you get down to the brightest setting, or the dimmest setting there. So as far as the low settings, they both have really good low settings, really good range of settings here. But the Kindle, it has a brighter light once you get all the way up to the maximum, and it has more of a white colored light. It's just a little bit grayer, I guess, on the Illumina HD right here. It's the Kindle's front light. It's probably the peak of front lights right now. There really is no shadowing effect at the bottom. The Illumina HD has just a little bit of shadowing effect at the bottom. The Kindle's Paperwhite's screen is just really clear and evenly lit. So as far as the pinch gestures go, they both have pinch gestures. They both have a capacitive touchscreen. It doesn't work with these apps, I don't think. Maybe it does increase the font size there. With the Kindle, it does. It does have the pinch zooming, so like when you're in an ebook, you can just increase font size like that, or if you're in a PDF, you can pinch zoom, or with the web browser, same deal. So they both have the pinch zooming with the capacitive screens. The Illumina HD obviously has an advantage with these page buttons right here, which a lot of people like for e-readers, myself included, just because when you're reading, it's kind of nice just to have your thumb just sitting right there, and then you just gotta give it a little pressure to turn pages instead of having to go like that. It's just, I don't know, I kind of like it better for reading, but it's always with the Kindle Paperwhites here anymore, they don't have any page buttons whatsoever. You just got the page turned, the taps on the page turned, so that page is forward. On the books, it also has a back button up there and a page refresh, so like if your text gets ghosting or whatever, so you got the page refresh. So the books, it has obviously a lot more features with the Android software, but when it comes to reading, it has a lot less features than the Kindle Paperwhite does. So like, I mean, the Kindle Paperwhite, it's made for reading. It's got X-ray. You're not going to get anything like that on this device. Even with the Kindle app, it doesn't have X-ray for Android. But as far as the on-screen features and the reading features for the Illumina HD, it's just a lot more basic. You got they got the typical copy and annotate and dictionary options, which I'm not even sure if the dictionary works. It does sometimes. No words in dictionary, yeah. Sometimes it says that, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gives some weird definitions, but so the dictionary, I guess it needs to be configured on the Illumina HD, even though that already has a whole bunch of them installed. But with the obviously with the Kindle, you've got X-ray, and of course the dictionary is gonna pull you up the definition. You can jump over to like Wikipedia if you want. Let's pop that up real quick. You got more options as far as the features, the on-screen features go. Like I said, you can just pop on up Wikipedia right over here and get references from Wikipedia. You can also go over here and search Google. You can get translations. So there's more options for the reading features as far as the Kindle Paperwhite is concerned. Obviously, you've got, as far as the fonts go, we do have more fonts on the Illumina HD. I mean, you do have more font choices, but that's one thing that always annoys me about the Paperwhite is you can't add your own fonts anymore. Amazon used to let you add, used to be this trick where you could add any font you wanted to on here, but now with the Paperwhite 2, that totally got disabled and you can't do that anymore, so you're stuck with these 6 choices right here, and you got the line spacing and margin choices obviously. Where the built-in app on this, it doesn't have as many settings, but you do have the line spacing and the margin settings, you got the font as far as that goes. So as far as the reading features go, obviously the Kindle's going to win as far as Kindle books. When it comes to other books though, I mean, the Illumina HD, it supports EPUB, so you can load in other apps. Obviously, it supports EPUB by default, and you can load in pretty much any EPUB app you want. So as far as the Kindle goes, obviously it's like restricted to the Kindle store, but you can read the Kobo books on here, and like I said, we've got the Kindle app on this device, so you can read Kindle apps Kindle books via the Android app. It's definitely not going to be as smooth as it is here on the Paperwhite. For one, this home screen is set up for tablets, so obviously it's got the scrolling animations. But once you get things loaded up, it works pretty well. The store works really well on this device, on the Illumina HD. So it's just basically right here, you got the Android app, and the page buttons do work. And if you wanted to get rid of this bar down there, you could. In settings, you can get rid of the system bar, but it actually is helpful for a lot of things with navigation, so I just leave it enabled. So yeah, if you enable page turns with the volume buttons in settings, in the main settings menu and the Kindle settings menu, then you can use the page buttons on this device. So that has the advantage, obviously, that the Paperwhite isn't going to have, because it doesn't have any buttons whatsoever. And so some people obviously like that better than others. So with the Kindle Android app, you get all the Kindle Android app features minus audio support, because this device doesn't have any audio support like the Kindle Paperwhite 2. So you've got this same sort of exact same settings as you got on the Android app. So I'm not going to go through this because I already showed all these in the dedicated review for this, but I just wanted to show you guys that the Kindle Android app does indeed work. As you can see, there's a little bit of a difference as far as the text renders on the Kindle app, because it's not as optimized for ink as the Paperwhite is. So the Paperwhite has really dark fonts, and it stays really nice and dark and bold and nice and crisp around the edges, whereas the Illumina HD, it can get a little more rough because it does the partial refresh. As you can see, it never does the actual full page refresh. But it does stay pretty clear. The text is still easily readable and clear. As you can see, though, comparing them side by side, it's not as dark as the Paperwhite. And once it does get a little cloudier, you can use the refresh button, but it's still not going to be as good a contrast as you get with the Paperwhite. You can tell the Paperwhite definitely has better contrast. Moving it around the light here, I mean, the text is definitely darker on the Paperwhite, even though we've got the same, I do have the same, I got dry serif on here, but we can put the exact same font between these two for a closer comparison. Maybe increase it one more size. See, that's one thing about the Android app too, is that the font sizes go kind of crazy. It's like small to huge. These two are pretty comparable size-wise, but yeah, it's just a little darker on the Paperwhite, of course, and you have just a little bit smoother page transition because it doesn't do that sliding effect. It just sort of does a fading effect. Okay, so obviously the Illumina HD shines with all the Android apps you can install. You can get Moonreader, you got RSS feeds on here, I got Dropbox. So I mean, you can access Dropbox with the Kindle's browser too, but obviously it's not as user-friendly and set up for all this other Android type stuff. So the Kindle, it does have like a web browser too. It's called an experimental web browser. Let's go ahead and just do a real quick comparison between these two web browsers. Okay, so I've loaded up the web browsers on both of these devices to do a quick comparison with the web browser. You can do pinch zooming with both of them. The Illumina HD, it just works so much better. I'm like so frustrated just trying to get one page to load on the Kindle Paperwhite. It just keeps not responding, it keeps not doing anything, it's just sort of like frozen. Where the Illumina HD, it uses the Android web browser, and you can pinch zoom like I show right there, and it enters the automatic scroll mode, so the partial refresh is nice and smooth as far as web browsing goes. And it's relatively fast. It's got the Android, built off the Android browser, and you can open different windows right here. The Kindle, I don't know what happened to it. It just sort of stopped responding and it's frozen. This is what happens to me every time I try to use the Paperwhite's browser. It just stops responding. It starts getting all frozen up. I was going to do a video how to directly load library books onto here, but it was so frustrating halfway through that I just gave up on it because the browser is just so wonky and like unreliable. So obviously web browsing is something that's going to be a lot more efficient on the Icarus Illumina HD. So now the Paperwhite, it's like gone crazy and I'm going to have to like restart it or something. Okay, so now my Paperwhite is finally restarting after the web browser fiasco. Okay, like that's sort of just like a microcosm of comparing these two devices. Kindle app, when it comes to reading, or the Kindle Paperwhite, when it comes to reading ebooks, everything's going to load faster, it's going to run smoother, you've got more features. With the Illumina HD, it runs Android, so you've got a lot more options with apps. It's a lot more versatile device. Things like the web browser work a heck of a lot better than they do on the Paperwhite. So it just sort of comes down to what you want from an ebook reader. The Kindle Paperwhite is going to be better for reading Kindle ebooks. It's a lot smoother and just more stable with the way that the operating system has been created for reading ebooks and reading ebooks only. But with the Illumina HD, obviously you get things like the RSS readers, you get more support with the ebook apps, and like stuff like the web browser. It just works a lot better and it's a lot more reliable. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review right here. Check out ebookreader.com. I'll have a written review associated with this that describes in detail a little bit more the differences and similarities between these two. So check that out, and thank you for watching. You have a good day.